Everybody, it's Stairway Team B Realty again. Hey, I want to talk about rentals again here in DFW. I have a lot of people that are relocating here and renting, and Dallas Fort Worth is different, as I've learned from much of the country. When you come here, you just need to know that you typically will not get a refrigerator, washer, or dryer with any property here. About 1% of all properties listed on MLS will have a refrigerator, and I'm talking about single family homes or townhomes or condos, non apartment type properties. And about 10% will have a refrigerator. So 1% with refrigerator, washer, dryer, refrigerator, 10% with a refrigerator. So that's just something you need to know. Also, the previous 9 years, we had 1.39 million people move here. The next 9 years, we have a projection of another 1.39 million people moving here. That being said, we're an expensive rental area. It's more expensive to rent than own in Dallas Fort Worth right now with interest rates where they're at. This isn't to sell anything, it's just to set expectations. And also, we have a variety of people that own and manage properties here. So, what you need to know, there's some landlords, and it's the landlord that sets the rules, not the agent. So, some landlords, 650 credit score, or they won't talk to you. Some are 700. But in general, if your scores are under 600, expect a double security deposit. So, that's the equivalent of 2 extra months of rent up front in addition to the first month's rent. Sometimes the owner will prorate it. The worst case I've ever seen is someone that moved here from out of town. They had to pay 13 months of rent up front because their credit was so bad and their rent history was so bad. You need to know that if you have an eviction or you owe rent, you may not be able to get an apartment or a home here. You may have to apply for a second chance apartment. Not a great situation, probably won't be where you enjoy living. So if you have that, it needs to be more than 3 years past. And again, we have a lot of demand here, so landlords can be very picky. They choose who they feel is the least risk. Always, when I list a property for lease, I tell the owners, look, credit score doesn't mean someone's a bad person. It means they had an event. Now, if you have a 350 credit score, well, there may be a little more than just a one-time event. But if you got something in the fives, low sixes, it's probably some event, divorce, death, loss of job, things like that. But just so you know, those things will drive an owner's decision, and you need to be prepared for that extra money up front. Now, if you're trying to get in with lesser deposit, an apartment may be your only choice. Just keep that in mind. Typically, you're going to have first month's rent due, security deposit with good credit is 1 month. Again, poor credit, 2 months plus. So something to keep in mind. I seem to be getting a lot of folks that are working at UT Southwestern or Parkland Hospital. And it's also another thing that's rare to find as a furnished property. Also, if you're looking at single family homes, it's very rare to find anything short-term lease. And short-term is anything less than a year. If you need a short-term lease, you need to look at an apartment. It may not be what you want to hear, but that's the reality. Landlords just have an abundance of tenants. Also, the other thing you need to know is for you to have an application process, you need to have given your written notice wherever you live now. I know some of you have to give 60 days, and that's scary, but you need to work with a good agent to help you find the property that you need. And here also, to keep in mind, when you make application on a property that's available immediately, and an agent can look at the listing and tell you, hey, it's available for move-in now. When that landlord processes your lease, it usually takes about 3 business days, give or take. The expectation of that landlord typically is that lease will begin in 2 weeks from that date. So if you're thinking, I don't want to move for a month, you may need to wait a little while. If you're 2 months away, you definitely need to wait a while. Now you can be sent listings that are coming soon, which means they're not available till a later date. So just talk to your agent about that. When there's a general application here in Texas called the TAR, or Texas Association of Realtors app, also the Texas Apartment Association, those two are used by a lot of owners. Some owners and property management companies have their own application. Typically, you have to have a written application, which is going to involve references of past landlords and employment history. Both of those 2 years, you need to have all the information: phone number, email address, the address of the previous property and employer. So make sure you have all that available. Also, if you're moving with the same company, 30 days of pay stubs. Or if you're local, 30 days of pay stubs. Or if you got a new job, then you need an offer letter showing what your income's going to be. And they're going to require driver's licenses for everyone that's 18 or older. And if you have a service animal, make sure that you can document that. Sometimes it is kind of difficult. They're supposed to allow service animals because they're not pets, but sometimes people just don't want an animal in the house. So just know you can get denied for various reasons. It's one of those things that we as agents can't control, but just something to be aware of. And know the other thing: aggressive breeds, pit bull, German shepherd, Rottweiler. Some people call pit bulls American bulldogs. So those things, if you have a large dog like 75 pounds or more, Grand Mastiff, that right there may be a deal killer for many owners. Or they may want $1,000 pet deposit. Some people will have pet rents. Apartments are the ones that tend to have pet rents, but expect a pet deposit in addition to other deposits. Be prepared to get your utilities turned on quickly too. That the landlord doesn't want to pay your utilities. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Hope you're doing well. If you're moving to Dallas soon, welcome to Dallas. Have a great day.